Okay, guys, who can tell me who the author is that's coming to this next week? I know it's on the board. I'm looking for a hand. Yep. Cynthia DeFelice, that's right. So, we read some of her books. Who can tell me what one of the books we read was? What's one? One potato, two potato. What's another one? Casey in the bath. And what's one more? In the back.
Something like,
oh yeah, I know.
Sneaky Crow. Close.
Clever Crow.
Clever Crow. Exactly. Exactly. So Clever Crow. So there's a picture of Cynthia DeFelice.
And now
if you remember. And that's the new book that's going to be coming out. So if we go and click on her picture books, we're going to find out how she got some of her ideas for the books that we read. So what's the first one that we read?
Casey in the bath.
Casey in the bath. So let's click that one. Does anyone have any ideas? Guys. Voices are off.
He's crying now. No, he's crying when he...
Guys, voices are off. How do you think she got this idea? What do you think? Seeing her kids in the bath? That's a good one. What do you think?
her kids stand by going. Her kids stand by going to the bath.
Maybe her kids didn't like taking baths. That's right. So what she did, and who can tell me what happened in this story? What was it about?
It was about...
I'm looking for a hand. Yeah, what was it about?
It was about a kid in the bath.
A kid in the bath, and what happens?
And he got his soap and clean, and when he popped the bubbles, little germs came.
The little germs, little creatures?
Yeah.
They look like little germs, huh? So yeah, exactly. So he popped the bubbles and creatures came out. So what she said about this book was, ideas for books can come from everywhere, even taking a bath. She said one night she was taking a bath with a new bubble bath that she got from a gift. And she said that it would be the biggest bubbles that she's ever seen. So she started popping them. And then she thought, hey, what would it be like if a little creature popped out? And she thought what they would look like, what they would do, what they would say. So she knows what her kids would have done in the bath. Does anyone remember how many kids she has?
Two.
She has
I didn't see that.
It's okay. She has two kids. She has Ralph and Shelley. And she said that if Ralph had been taking a bath when this happened, he would have brought in his Legos and built towers and ships and castles and brought his plastic dinosaurs in, just like Casey did in the bath. And then for Shelley, she said that Shelley would have brought her favorite music in, and they would have started boogieing. And what's another word for boogie? What does it mean? To dance, exactly. It means to dance. So that's what she said. And it also, in this book, gave her a chance to use one of her favorite words that she doesn't get to use a lot. Share them before. What? It's belly button. Why did she get to use the word belly button? Do you remember what it was in the book? What? Yeah, one of the creatures was hiding in his belly button, wasn't he? And you can't really use that word a lot in books. So, it was something different. So what's another book that we read of hers?
Clever Crow.
In the back, orange.
Clever Crow.
Clever Crow, exactly. I know you were saying it was sneaky.
We didn't read Cold Feet.
No, we didn't read Cold Feet. We don't have that one.
Dancing Skeleton.
And that we don't have it either. So Clever Crow, what happens in Clever Crow? Who can tell me? What happens? There's a bird that likes to steal shiny things. That's right. What else?
One thing he steals is Martha's car keys, and her child gets the car keys back.
That's right. She does. The bird does steal the car keys. So for this one, guess what? She said that there really was a bird that came into their yard when Shelley was in 4th grade and stayed. And she said that we never knew where it came from, or whether it was a wild bird or an escaped pet. And I wonder why she started thinking it was a pet instead of it. It says it was quite tame. What's another word for tame? Trained. What's another word?
Tame.
Tame. Another word for tame. It means calm. It means it's not wild. And And it said, and it took a special shine to Shelley, because he likes shiny stuff. It says that it would fly from the sky and land on her shoulders, on the top of her head, and even take food from her hand. Now, does a wild bird usually do that? No. It would fly away. So she said that it noticed that it was attracted to anything shiny, exactly. And Shelley had pierced ears, and it liked to peck at the earrings and the buttons and her necklace. So what they used to do was they would even put stuff out on the deck. And she put safety pins, paper clips, and dimes to see what would happen. And what do you think the bird did? It took them, exactly. And sure enough, they disappeared. The bird even stole a shiny new fork that they left hanging on their grill. So he really liked shiny stuff. So one day, she was driving to go cross-country skiing. Does anyone know how to ski? Yeah, I know, I do. I like it. So she went skiing, and she put her keys in her pocket before she left. She went out on the trail, came back to her car, and her keys were missing. So she said that she discovered her keys were gone. She went back over the trail to find them, and the whole time she was hoping that that pesky crow wasn't around. Why did she not want the crow to be there?
Like, oh man, take it and
Yeah.
it could be in the house.
Exactly.
But how can I get my keys when they're in the house?
She was worried. She was worried that the crow took them. But she said if the crow did take them, she never would have gotten home. But she did find the keys. And when she was looking, she started thinking in her head a poem, and it said, "Clever crow loves shiny things, nickels, quarters, diamond rings." And in the book that she ended up reading because of this idea, it was written in a poem and in rhyme. And so she put the idea of the crow taking the keys and the shiny objects and the rhyming and created Clever Crow. So that's how she got that one. What's the other one we read? Yeah.
One potato.
One potato, two potato. That's right. And who can tell me, do they remember what Cynthia DeFelice was doing when she got the idea for the one in the purple, in the back?
Making potatoes.
She was making potatoes. She was peeling them, right? She was going to make mashed potatoes for dinner. So she was peeling them up and getting ready, and that's how she got the idea for one potato, two potato. And who can tell me what happened in this book? What happened? We read it last week. Yep. What did she do? Or what happened?
There was this black pot that goes like two things.
It made things double, right? So if you put one thing in, it got two. If you put two in, it got four. Yep. You forgot. Okay. So she got the idea for the potatoes while peeling them. And actually won a couple awards. Now the book, that we're going to read today is another one of hers.
It's called
The Real True Dulcie Campbell is the one we're going to read today.
Yay!
Has anyone read this book before? No? Good. So this one, we can look at the pictures. Okay? Maybe. So this one, it says, she wrote, "Children often fantasize or dream about what it would be like to be someone else." Raise your hand if you ever dreamed about being something else or someone else, like a knight or a princess or a pirate or an animal. I know I have. I always wanted to be a princess. So in this book, Dulcie, who lives on a farm and has the job of mucking out the chicken coop. What is it look like she's doing? What is she doing? Mucking out the chicken coop. What does it look like she's doing? Cleaning out the hay. Yep, she's cleaning out the chicken coop where the chickens lay their eggs and where they eat and stuff. So does she look happy about it? No. She looks gross. I don't want to do this. So she says she can't believe this is the life for her. Surely she's a princess. And do princesses usually have to do jobs like this?
No. They would always have to wait.
Right, they would have servants to do it. So she said her real mother is a real queen and her dad is a king. And the boy running around with his underpants on his head cannot be her brother. So do you think she's happy about where she is? No. So she also has a dog, and she can't believe it's her dog either. So we are going to read the book, The Real True Dulcie Campbell. And then we're going to get books. And depending if you guys are quiet and fast, we might have time to read another one of her books. And you will laugh. So the first thing we're going to do is read this one. So the book's called The Real True Dulcie Campbell by who? Cynthia D. Felice, and the pictures are by R.W. Allen. No, that's okay. We'll leave it. Thank you, though. Okay, voices should be off. Looking up at me. Thank you. Okay. One Saturday afternoon, when Dulcie Campbell was doing her chores, it occurred to her that a terrible mistake had been made on the day she was born. Someone, a careless nurse, or a daydreaming doctor, or more likely, a wicked fairy, must have taken her from her satin-lined, jewel-encrusted royal crib and placed her in the quite ordinary crib of another, quite ordinary baby. And in that, the extraordinary Princess Dulcina, for that she knew was her true name, ended up living with a quite ordinary family on a quite ordinary farm in the quite ordinary town of Hollyhock, Iowa, mucking out the chicken coop. Okay. So is she happy?
No.
No. It is the same picture. There was a woman who lived in the house, but she was no queen. My real mother has hundreds of servants who do all the work, and she never makes me sit at the table. My real mother buys me silk gowns and doesn't even own a sewing machine. My real mother lets me eat chocolates all day and does not believe in broccoli. She never wears worn-out old bunny slippers with missing ears either. There was a man who lived in the house too, but he was no king. My real father lets me watch TV as late as I want and never makes me wake up in the morning to help with the milking. My real father has a throne built just for me, and he's never even heard of a timeout chair. My real father has a long, soft, flowing beard and not scratchy whiskers, and he does not have manure on his boots. He works on a farm, right? There is a boy who slept in the room next to hers, but he was no prince. My real brother is handsome and charming. He does not have bunchy red hair and missing teeth and freckles. My real brother has so many toys of his own that he never messes with mine. My real brother does not steal my underpants and wear them on his head.
That's hers?
Yeah. Even Ralph was not Dulcie's real dog. My real dog would never roll around on a dead woodchuck. My real dog doesn't have dog breath, and my real dog doesn't sniff people all over. Who has a dog? You raise your hand. Do you?
I have a puppy. I have a kitty.
You have a puppy?
I have a puppy.
Give me 5, 1, 2, 3. Boys. I must inform you that I really am a princess, she announced to the people in the house. Well now, I've always known you were something special, Sweet Pea, said the man. A princess, said the woman. Can you believe that? Not really, said the boy. Furthermore, Dulcie continued grandly, I command you to call me by my real name, Princess Dulcina. Of course, Your Highness, said the man. Certainly, Princess Dulcina, said the woman. Fat chance, said the boy. His little brother. I must go now to live the life I was born for, said Dulcie. Goodbye, said the woman. Good luck, said the man. Good riddance, said the boy. Farewell, called Dulcie. Take a warm jacket, called the woman. Don't forget your book, called the man. I thought you said you were leaving, shouted the boy. Closing the door behind her, Dulcie set off into the wide world to find her rightful place. You think she's going to find the princess? Yes. Everywhere she went, she was recognized by one and all as the princess she truly was. Her admiring subjects bowed and bobbed and curtsied. They oohed and they ahed. They groveled adoringly at her feet. They lined the fences, murmuring in awe at the sight of her. They scurried forward to trumpet her praises. So what does she really see? Who can tell me? What is she really seeing? And what is she pretending to see in her head? The people that are pretending to act like she's a princess, right? So are the people really there? No.
I like her dress.
It is a pretty dress. It's all in her head, huh? Soon, Dulcie saw the tower of a great palace. She went inside and sat on a throne to wait for her real true family to appear. To help pass time, she opened her book of fairy tales and began to read. The book was full of stories about princesses. See what she reads about.
She's dreaming.
She is. So where is she really walking into?
The barn.
The what?
The barn.
The barn, yep. And what is she pretending it is? The castle, yeah.
It looks cool how she like forms it.
How she, in her head, yeah. The first princess wore beautiful silk gowns, married a prince, and lived happily ever after. Dulcie smiled and eagerly read on. The next princess was left by her father with a wicked queen who made her wear rags and sleep in ashes. What princess is she talking about?
Sleeping Beauty.
Everybody
Rapunzel.
knows
Never
this one.
Snow White.
Nope, she's sleeping in ashes. It's Cinderella.
Down
Her smile began to fade. A wicked fairy placed a spell on another princess who slept for 100 years. Now that's Sleeping Beauty, yeah. One princess was imprisoned in the palace of the West Wing. One was locked in a tower by a witch, which was Rapunzel.
I said that.
And one was locked in a tower of stone, and one had to keep the house of an ogre. One even had to kiss a frog.
Oh, that's Tiana.
Tiana, yeah.
The ogre is
Yep, voices off. Thank you. Ugh, said Dulcie, snapping the book shut. Does she want to be a princess?
no,
She doesn't want to kiss a frog. It was all very disappointing. She had thought the life of a princess would be perfect, but instead it sounded boring and hard and downright yucky. She looked down at the clothes her mother had made for her. They weren't made of silk, but they weren't rags either. Her father made her clean up after chickens, but they weren't nearly as gross as ogres. Her parents made her go to bed when she wasn't tired, but not for 100 years, and not in ashes. Once in a while, they sent her to the timeout chair, but she knew they would never, ever lock her in a tower. The life of a princess seemed lonely. Dulcie was beginning to feel lonely, too. Right at that moment, there was nothing more that she wanted to see than her real, true mother's worn-out old bunny slippers, and nothing she'd rather feel than her real, true father's scratchy whiskers, and nothing she'd rather smell than the soft, warm fur on the neck of her real, true dog, Ralph. She thought it might even be nice to see her brother. So is she homesick? Does she miss her home? Their family? Yeah. Dulcie got up to leave and noticed that it had grown quite dark. She peered uneasily into the deep black shadows. There, in the corner, was a terrible troll. Along the wall, witches and wicked fairies watched and whispered. Ogres oogled from overhead. I don't know, let's see. To Dulcie's dismay, she found she was under their spell. She felt as if she'd been turned to stone. "Hey," she cried out, "there's been a mistake. I'm no princess." Tears and giggles came from the corners. "I'd rather eat broccoli than kiss a frog any day," she said. Still, the voices muttered and mocked her. "You need proof that I'm a princess? Take a look at my brother." The creatures lurked and laughed and licked their lips. Dulcie swallowed hard. Tears were beginning to prickle in her eyes when she remembered something. "Wait a second," she said. "If I'm not a princess, which I truly am not, then you guys aren't real true trolls and ogres and witches and wicked fairies either. So could you please go away now?" And she closed her eyes. Who can guess what's going to happen when she opens them?
There's going to be a bunch of barn animals.
You think they're going to be barn animals? What do you think?
I think that would be a chicken.
A chicken? Oh, maybe.
Yeah, that's going to be a chicken.
I think so. When she opened them again, she was relieved to see shovels and pitchforks, not witches and wicked ogres, and wicked fairies lining the walls. Instead of ogres, milk pails and rolls of wire filled the hayloft, which is up above the barn. In the corner stood a tractor, not a troll. She was in her own true barn, on her own true farm. Far away, a voice was calling, Dulcie, Dulcie Campbell." Faster than the west wind, Dulcie ran out of the barnyard. She flew toward the sound of her real, true name. Who do you think's calling her?
Mother.
You think Mom?
Mommy. Or her, you know.
Her dad? Maybe?
Or maybe, you know,
Oh, maybe the king and the queen? Soon she was lifted high in the air. She felt the scratch of whiskers on her cheek and breathed in the rich, familiar smell of her real, true father. He said, squeezing her tight. "You feel mighty good, princess." "It's just me, Dad, Dulcie Campbell." "Why, so it is." They walked toward the glow shining from the windows of Dulcie's real, true home.
I bet the brother's going to be very sad and kick.
And mad that she came back? Let's see. Inside, Dulcie's real, true dog, Ralph, sniffed her all over and licked her face and wagged his tail with joy. Her real, true mother called from the kitchen. "Is that you, Dulcie? Thank goodness. Come help me set the table for dinner." Her real true brother muttered, "I knew it was too good to be true." So yeah, he wasn't happy. Dulcie Campbell and her real true family sat down to a feast fit for a princess. And what are they eating? Broccoli. There might be Brussels sprouts, but I think that one's broccoli. Okay, so who can tell me, was she happy being a princess? No. Did she miss being in her family? Okay, raise your hand if you think that The Real True Dulcie Campbell was your favorite Cynthia D. Felice book. Anyone? What about One Potato, Two Potato? What about Casey in the Bath? Did anyone like Clever Crow? A couple. You can vote more than once.
Oh.
I was just curious. Okay, now it's time to go get books, and if we do it quickly and quietly, we might have time to read it. We'll see if we have time. I gotta check.
Oh, that one's bad. I don't like that one. Why?
Oh, you know
I
what?
like this one.
Hold on. Mrs. Collins just asked me,
Voices up.
because you're keeping one book on your desk for open house, right?
Oh.
That's not going to count as one of your 3 books. So you can kind of get
Whoa.